Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever The Ramen Stand podcast.
Ooh.
This is a anime podcast where we talk about, you guessed it, you smart, you're funny, anime. Yup. So grab your bowl of ramen and let's just talk about some motherfucking anime. Today, we are joined with the three beautiful boys and bees. I'm DJ.
I'm Cole.
I'm Kai.
Absolutely. So primarily this podcast, pretty much what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be talking about general topics within anime and sort of our thoughts and stuff like that. But as we progress and sort of figure things out, we'll have more ideas for stuff. But for now, that's pretty much just what it is, just talking about just general things in anime. So yeah. So our main topic is pretty much how we got into anime. But before we talk about that, we're going to briefly, I want to explain how this podcast started. So one day I was just like, you know what? I really want to start an anime podcast. And then I texted Kai and Cole if they wanted to be in it. And they said yes. And here we are.
It's literally how it went.
Yeah, we're literally so easy
That's
going.
literally how it went. Yep. Yes, sir. But yeah. So now to get into the main topic, which is how we got into anime. So, Cole, how did you discover anime?
Okay, so I typically like to hold my cousins accountable, at least the ones who have like immigrated over here with my father's family. Because when I was little, we watched like one of the little Studio Ghibli films. I don't remember exactly what it was. I want to say probably like Howl's Moving Castle or something. And so ever since then, I was like, wow, what the hell is this art style? This looks nice. I dig it. And so I didn't actually like actively watch anime until like middle school, because they showed me this when I was like legit a child, like 5, 6 years old. I didn't know what the hell that was. All I knew was like pretty.
Right.
And so I guess if it counts as an anime, yeah, I'd probably say Howl's Moving Castle was like my first anime type thing.
Oh, yeah. Ghibli movies definitely count. Yeah. I've never really seen... I don't think I've ever actually seen any Ghibli movie all the way through. I don't know. I mean, they seem interesting. I need to watch them. I haven't seen
What
any
the
of them.
fuck, DJ? You know what? We're coming over. We're gonna bring all the movies. We're just gonna marathon them.
I mean, shit, that'd be pretty tight, having a Ghibli
Movie marathon.
watch over. Shit, that could be another podcast episode. Just talk about Ghibli movies. Perfect. Good idea. All right, cool. What about you, Kai? How'd you discover anime?
Man, I honestly think my discovery of anime was just kind of a product of my environment. Because I'm Asian.
Hell yeah.
2/3 of us are Asian.
Oh, yeah.
So it was definitely like very normal. So it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly when, just because like it was such like an environmental normality to me, I guess. But one thing that I do remember seeing for the first time and being very stricken by it was Castle in the Sky. And I loved that. Like, just the way the narrative played out and just the art style and everything. Like, it was very, very, like, it is very nostalgic for me. So that was definitely one of the first, I guess, pieces of anime that really drew me in. But like I said, again, it's hard to pinpoint exactly when, just because I started really young. But yeah, it was definitely just a combination of like my uncle being super into arts and anime and stuff like that, and also my best friends being really into anime and manga and all that. So definitely a product of my environment, would say.
Yeah, honestly, I think I gotta agree with that. Like, I just can't pinpoint exactly when I discovered anime. Like, I definitely discovered it when I was a kid. Like, have you guys ever heard of toonami?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's a blast from the past right there.
Yeah, like I discovered anime because of Cartoon Network having toonami. Because for those of you that don't know what toonami is, fucking uncultured piece of shit.
Fucking
but
Zoomers.
pretty much,
We're Zoomers.
pretty much toonami was a like a network that was not a network. It was like a program that was going on like right after Cartoon Network, like late at night, around Adult Swim times, when they would just play a bunch of different anime, and it was great. Like they had Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, like a bunch of
things.
I think they did. They
that's
probably
what I
did.
remember.
I
That's
don't
like
remember
I think that's one of the first actual, like, you know, anime type episodic things that I've actually watched.
Yeah, I think they probably had that, but I don't remember. But yeah, that was pretty much how I discovered anime, was because of Toonami, and also Cartoon Network. Sometimes they would have, you know, Pokemon and stuff like that, and Yu-Gi-Oh and different things like that. Well, they didn't have Yu-Gi-Oh, that was 4Kids. Oh yeah, 4Kids too. Do you guys know of 4Kids?
I actually have not. It's familiar to me, but I can't exactly place it. Is that also like
4Kids was no.
They localized
4Kids
the
is
anime.
way worse.
Like one of the most prominent things I remember is them taking like a rice ball in Pokemon and calling it a jelly-filled donut.
Yeah, pretty much not Toonami. 4Kids, they're the ones who, like, a dubbing company who, like, licensed a bunch of different anime and then just censored the hell out of it, like, try to Americanize it. Like, there's a bunch of just compilations of comparing the original to the 4Kids version of just, like, because, like, One Piece, for example, they localized that, and they had no idea what they were getting into with One Piece, because they just thought it was some childish cartoon pirate show, but they didn't realize just how much, like, actual bad shit happens in that show. Like, they'd censor guns with, like, water guns. They censored one of the main characters' cigarettes with, like, a lollipop, and just, like, cutting out a lot of blood and stuff. Like, they just censored the crap out of a lot of anime.
Interesting.
But that was also how I first got into it too, was because of 4Kids. As much as I fucking hate 4Kids now, like, that, I have to give them credit for getting me and a bunch of other people into anime.
It was for the kids, indeed.
It was for the kids. And they had Kirby too, and I fucking love Kirby.
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, that's where I remember it from. Because I remember I really liked Kirby as a child growing up.
Definitely. So yeah, what anime do you think you guys were, like, super into growing up as a kid? That, like, that first anime, they were just like, I'm into this shit.
Pokemon.
Do you have one? Pokemon? Oh, definitely.
Definitely
Yeah,
Pokemon. I would just sit there for like ages on end in front of the TV wanting to watch Pokemon. Then like it would end and I'd just sit there empty and devoid.
Yeah. I watched Pokemon.
No, it was always hard for me to watch like Pokemon or Naruto or things like that, just because of the English dubbing. Because I thought, like, growing up, I always thought that it was very like very over exaggerated, just like all the dubbing and stuff, and like very like cringy at times. So I was like, I can't watch like English dub at all.
Wow,
that's what caught my attention.
You felt that way as a kid?
That's how it kept my attention.
The cringiness.
Yes, the cringiness, and also like how crazy they were of like everything else. They just like went absolutely nuts with all their lines.
That's true. I mean, I fucking loved it as a kid. Like, especially Naruto, especially. Like, Naruto was fucking tight as a kid. Like, I remember back in the VHS days, sometimes I would record the episodes so that way I could watch them later. Like, I remember the big Naruto versus Sasuke
steal
fight.
The program.
Yeah, I remember the big Naruto versus Sasuke fight, just, like, recording that shit onto my VHS, or sometimes recording, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Episodes onto my VHS. Like, I'm pretty sure I could find them and just, like, look back at them, all those fucking cringy dub shit. But, yeah. What about you, Kai? What was, like, the first big anime that you were into as a kid, do you think?
God, I don't want to say it was actually an anime. It was this one manga that one of my good friends was reading called Kami-chama Karen. And it was basically just this like high school girl who was also like she could turn into a goddess or something like that.
Sounds anime
and
as
being
fuck.
like a little like elementary school girl, it was just very like, oh, this is very cute. I like this very much. But I think in terms of like actual episodic animes, definitely Clannad was, despite how heavy hitting it is for that age. My uncle was super into Clannad, and so he just showed me like all the episodes and stuff, and I ended up like really liking it, and I would always recommend it to my friends until I realized that it was like this slice of life thing, and not too many people were into like slice of life stuff at the moment. But no, definitely the most memorable.
Yeah, I'm definitely not someone who's super into slice of life, honestly. Like, I have not seen a whole bunch of slice of life. I'd say I prefer shonen, but I've noticed that as I've gotten older, I'm not super into the newer shonen. Like, I'm not immediately gonna jump on the the train when a new shonen comes out. Like I haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen yet. I probably will because I've heard of good things. And like
I've heard really good things.
Yeah, and I've noticed that like My Hero, for example, I've started to like that a little less and less as time goes by. It's not bad. It's just I don't know. I feel like my just love for shonen, especially newer shonen, is starting to die down a little bit. Still love it though. In terms of like, I guess my first anime that I was super into as a kid, I guess I think I want to say not just Pokemon, but probably Yu-Gi-Oh too. Like I fucking the dubbing in that, if you look back at it, it's fucking terrible, but I fucking loved it. Like I remember sometimes whenever me and my parents would go on trips, like whenever we go visit family in Ohio, they would set up this this like disc player thingy for me to like watch on the back seat, and I just always would watch the entire first season of Yu-Gi-Oh on it. Really?
Dude, those gave me the worst headaches ever.
Yeah, same. I would get like really bad motion sickness on like car rides when I was a kid. It's I just couldn't like read anything because I would just feel so sick. I mean, it still happens like a bit, but a bit less because I'm driving, thankfully. Especially when I'm reading like billboards or something and they're like super wordy and I'm like,
that's fucked up when they do that. It's like, I'm trying to drive. You're going to put all this text?
Bro, I'm not trying to read the novel. I'm trying to drive.
All right. What's up?
We should do the...
Fuck, dude, I am totally down to get y'all into watching video. If y'all did, though, 100% subbed. 100%. Like, as much as I love... Because the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! With the dub, like, the voices, for the most part, they fit, and they're pretty decent. But it's just, the lines that they say are pretty fucking cringy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying about dub stuff. Is sometimes like it's really hard to get like the Japanese like sayings or mannerisms and translate
little
it
nuances.
properly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I think about. Yeah,
like,
that's
it's
what I
not
think
as
about
funny.
One Piece too. Like, I think the One Piece dub is pretty solid, and for the most part, all the voice actors do a really good job. But every now and then, there are definitely lines that just sound very awkward or weird in the dub because they have to try and say the lines that fit with the original, but also like try to fit the mouth movements. Like they can't, try to compromise. They gotta make it fit and make it work somehow. But sometimes it's just kind of cringy. Gotta make it fit.
Gotta make it fit.
That's our tip here on the Ramen Stand.
No. Yeah, I definitely think One Piece and God, what was it? Cowboy Bebop. Their English dubbing was not as bad as what I've remembered from
like
my
Funimation,
past.
they do a really good job for the most part with their dubs. Cowboy Bebop here is really, really good, but I haven't seen Cowboy Bebop yet. I still need to watch that. I'm planning on watching it this year though.
It's so good. I watched it in like 2 days.
It's only like 20 episodes, isn't it?
Yeah, I might start watching it too since I'm like running out.
Oh shit, yeah. I'm actually, speaking of newer anime to check out, after the current anime that I'm currently watching, which we'll talk about in a sec, current anime that we're watching, I'm planning on watching Ghost Stories, the dub, pretty soon. And I am excited to watch that shit. Hi, have you heard of Ghost Stories?
Which one?
That's my favorite dub.
Ghost Stories?
I've not.
No.
That sounds something like I would watch though.
Dude.
No,
Yeah,
no,
send her a small clip. Pretty much, I'll do the setup before you check it out. Ghost Stories pretty much was just a regular anime that did poorly in Japan. It did horribly because it was just so bad and boring and all that stuff that when it was time for them to localize in English, they pretty much just told them, like, you know what? This show is terrible. Literally do whatever you want as long as you keep pretty much the original premise. You can just say or do whatever you want. And so the dub is pretty much just like, it's basically an official parody. It's so funny.
I've seen this.
Yeah. I'm sorry that we can't be together, not because you're rabbit, but because you're black. Like, oh my God, I fucking love that. That's so funny.
Little goofy laugh.
I'm excited to watch Ghost Stories. But anyway, So the next thing that I want to ask you guys is, what are some things that you really like about anime and some things that you kind of like don't like about anime in general?
I really enjoy the way the narrative structure works. Because I feel like compared to like American stuff that we watch, it's definitely very complex. And that's not to say that like American narratives aren't as complex, but just the way they pull it off and like the suave that they do it with in animes is just blew my mind. I remember that was like one of the big things that I remembered after watching Clannad and like all these other like Studio Ghibli films, that like just the way they intertwined everyone's story and everyone's narrative was really, really like neat and like made sense to where it was like mind-blowing.
Right. Okay. What about you, Cole? What's one thing that you really like about anime in general?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Kai there on like the story, because one of my favorite animes, their storyline, Erase, like the way they structured it, you really can't predict who it is unless you're like very like careful with paying attention. Like with most of the Americanized, most of the American shows that I've seen, you can probably assume who done it like a mile away. Maybe it's just the shows I've watched, but that's what I've noticed. And also, there's like this whole like system in Japan that they really like to like focus on with like the honorifics and stuff. I think that's kind of funny because like whenever you read like manga and stuff, they don't translate brother; they just call them Onichi, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Right.
This is funny. I don't hate it, but I just think it's funny.
Definitely. Probably for me, I guess, weirdly enough, the over-the-topness of anime, like, because I do like love shonen a lot, and I just love how just over the top and hype a lot of things get. Like fucking, like back to talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Like it's literally just fucking them playing a card game, but they make it the most dramatic, over the top shit ever, and I fucking love it. And also too, like what you guys were saying about narratives and stuff, like I really like a lot of the narratives in anime and just like their ideas and stuff like that, and how they're able to pretty much tell animated stories in a very, for the most part, mature ways, and it's just really crazy, and just definitely things that you can't really do in American television that, you know, with animation and cartoons in general is like you're able to, you have more freedom and stuff, and I really like that about anime, is more of the freedom that they have and the creativity. I really like that a lot. But yeah. All right, so now some negative shit. What are some things that y'all just don't like about anime in general? For me, I've noticed that as I've gotten older, honestly, I'm starting to like hate certain archetypes in anime. Like I'm starting to hate damsels in distress way more as an adult. Like I'm just so annoyed by them. They piss me off. And also just unnecessary fan service too. Like I love me some titties, don't get me wrong, but when they throw it in my face every 5 minutes, I'm just like, all right. Yeah.
It gets old.
Yeah, but so those are some things I'm starting to like be like about anime as I've gotten older. Still love it though. What about you guys? What are some things about anime that are just like meh?
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with you on the fan service, like, cause every slice of life anime, which I feel like might play into you not liking it, DJ, they always have like a beach scene.
Oh, there's always a beach episode.
Or a hot spring scene, or just a locker scene. It's just like, why? Just move on with the story. And another thing I don't really particularly like too much, I think it's with recent animes, they just don't capture my attention fast enough. Like they take a bit too long to get into the story, and so you're wasting like 1 to 3 episodes trying to like see what's going on.
Oh, definitely.
And like some of the older stuff, they just like get you immediately. They just throw you right into the action. You're like invested.
Yeah, you know what, honestly, that's another thing that now I think about I don't like about anime is that like there's a lot of people who say, oh, it gets good in like episode 15, or oh, it gets good episode 30. I'm just like, that's not a good thing. Like, you should be hooked on the first episode.
No, it's not.
I mean, yeah, sure, you should maybe like give it a shot and like give it some time sometimes, but for the most part, like a show, anime or not, should hook you in the beginning. Like, it shouldn't take that many episodes for it to get good. That's not a good thing. And like, yeah, there's a lot of anime that spend way too much time trying to set shit up than like actually trying to like hook you, which isn't good. Like One Piece, for example, like a lot of people say like, oh, it gets good episode 30, episode 40. And I'm just like, true. And I love One Piece. It's my second favorite anime of all time, but that's not a good thing. It's not good. But yeah, what about you, Kai?
No, I definitely feel the same way about like how you guys were talking about like the setup and how it's supposed to, like the hook is fucking like halfway into season 1.
Light
like
years away.
Exactly, and like it's fine. I think it's fine to have like the setup and everything, but if you can't hook me with your setup, because that's something that like has to be done like too. Like it's not necessarily just action that has to grab me. It also has to be like you're introducing these characters. Okay, use these characters to grab your audience, and then take them into the action. Like if you're gonna do that,
make them likable.
Exactly. But definitely what you were saying earlier, DJ, about like certain archetypes. I've really gotten to hate the tsundere archetype a lot.
Oh my god, yes.
Just because
yeah, fuck
oh
that.
my god, yeah. I was watching what was it? I was watching Toradora like 2-3 months ago. And Taiga, I love her. She's such a cute character, but sometimes it was just like it's too much. Like he's trying to talk to you, like move the story along.
Stop being a bitch.
I've hated tsunderes day one. Day one, I was just like, fuck him. I don't like them.
Like, I would have to say, most recently, one of the animes that have had that is probably like that Rent-A-Girlfriend one. Like, I watched that and I was like, okay, the main character's kind of funny. And then, like, I kept watching, thinking, like, okay, when is he gonna grow some balls? When is he gonna, like, actually come out to his parents and tell them the truth? And then I read the comments, and like, oh yeah, if you're expecting him to be, like, getting any, like, character development, well, get the fuck out of here, because he's not gonna get any. He's gonna be like this the whole time. Like, okay, dropped that anime immediately.
That's another thing that pisses me off about anime too, is like when it comes to relationships. This is mainly a problem with shonen, of just like the main character being extremely oblivious to the female character's feelings. Like that shit pisses me off so much. Like one of my other favorite anime, Hajime No Ippo, which is a boxing anime, which that one is really cool because of it. Even though it follows the same formula from episode 1 to episode whatever, like they do a really good job establishing these characters and sometimes even making you want to root for the side characters more than the main characters too, and they do a really good job of that, which I like a lot. But it's just the relationship between the main character Makonochi Ippo and the female love interest Kumi, like it's so obvious that they both like each other, but they've known each other for like over 6 years, I think, and they still aren't together. And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? This is stupid. I just hate that shit in anime sometimes.
No, I get that, because it's like you're waiting.
Disclaimer, we love anime. Yeah. We're spending this time shitting on anime, but we love anime, but can't deny that it definitely can piss us off sometimes. All right, so the last topic, main last topic, is what anime we are currently watching. So for me, the anime that I'm currently watching and almost finished with is, have you guys ever heard of Hitman Reborn?
Yes.
Sounds familiar. You're gonna have to run me through it though.
Pretty much the basic premise is it's an anime about this pussy middle schooler named Suna, who they call him Loser Suna. He's like this middle school kid who one day this mafia baby comes up to him and is like, hey, you are next in line to be the Vongola the 10th of like this mafia boss family. And so he pretty much just like trains him to become the next mafia boss, but he's a fucking pussy. But I mean, it's a cool anime. I really like it a lot. Definitely one of those anime that unfortunately didn't get super popular. Like it has a lot of episodes. It's like over 200. It's like 203 episodes. And at the time it was very popular, but unfortunately it got canceled before they could finish animating the last 2 arcs. But I like it a lot. All the characters are very interesting. The fights are cool. The openings and the music is really good and stuff like that. The only thing that pisses me off is, like I said, with like the whole love interest thing. Like episode 1, the mafia baby made the main character confess his love to the love interest, and he did, and she just like, I guess, somehow didn't understand what he was talking about, even though he clearly said, "I like you, go out with me," and she just didn't understand what he meant by that. And I was like,
it's
so
painfully
fucking
obvious.
Jesus fucking yeah, that pissed me off. And also one of the characters named Lambo, he's like a 5-year-old baby, and he's just the most annoying motherfucker. I hate him so much, and I'm pissed that they made him like a main character and he's like important to the plot, and he just cries all the fucking time, and I'm just like, I don't like you. I really don't. But yeah, that's the anime that I'm currently watching and almost finished with. What about you guys?
Mafia infants, what the hell? Well, most recently I've been watching Otherside Picnic, which is pretty weird because it focuses on a lot of like Japanese like urban legends and stuff. Like, you know how we have like Slender Man and like Bigfoot and shit like that. Well, they have these things in the first episode called Wiggle Waggles, which are horrifying to see. The name sounds silly.
Wiggle
hold on, let me
The name
see
does not instill fear in me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't, but hold on. Otherside Picnic, Wiggle Waggle. Oh no, it's showing me a gif of a cat wiggling. That's not what I wanted.
I don't want a gif of a cat wiggling.
Oh, this...
You want to see it?
Yes.
Here you go. Let me find it on Google Images instead.
It was very good. Thank you for this.
I
love this very much.
I'm hoping this is what's in the anime.
It's more horrifying.
Is these?
Because when they first said the name Wiggle Waggle, I was like, "What the hell do you mean?" Then I saw them, like, jeez.
Does the name fit the description? You think?
They wiggle, they waggle. They're just horrifying. Like, that's how they look
Oh,
oh,
in
what
there,
the fuck?
and they
That is not.
apparently make people go crazy if you stare at them for too long, which is what one of the girls
I mean,
does.
shit, I'm already going crazy right now.
That's just horrifying. And so
yeah. You sent the second picture, and I was
Interesting.
like, okay, I see now.
yeah, and if you stare at them long enough, you go crazy and you could possibly die. Because the premise of that anime is you go into this other world, which they call the other side, and they go around
Isekais,
hunting
man.
these like beasts and stuff for research and for profit. And it's really good. I'm enjoying it so far. Apparently the two girls, they get together later on in the episodes. Still waiting for that, but we'll see. We'll see.
As you do with
It has
most
to be
anime,
gay,
yes.
yes.
Love gay stuff. Gay stuff is great.
What about you, Kai? What anime are you currently watching?
So I recently just got through Haikyuu, finally.
Oh.
So I started watching Kuroko's basketball, which is where it's basically, so in like middle school years in Japan, there was like this team of basketball players that were called the Generation of Miracles,
Yeah.
and then they all went off to high school, but they all went to separate high schools. So like all 5 of them are split up, but there's actually a 6th guy that sucks at everything else in basketball, but he's really good at like passing the ball. And they call
Yeah,
him
I've
like
heard
the
of that,
shadow,
yeah.
basically. And he's yeah. So basically, it follows Kuroko and like the way he plays basketball, because it's very like cooperative team play as opposed to the rest of the Miracles who were just playing for themselves. So I've been watching that. It's been pretty fun.
Okay.
I kind of fell off at some points just because like the narrative structure got really repetitive. But it fixed
Right.
itself with time. But I also just
I feel like that's
finished,
just a
Demon
lot
Slayer.
with sports anime.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Demon Slayer, you finished it?
Yeah, so funny enough, someone recommended Demon Slayer to me, I want to say like 6-ish months ago, but I had watched the first episode, and just for some reason, like the animation style threw me off, so I couldn't watch it. But I recently picked it
really?
back up, and yeah, that was really, I'm glad I picked it up because it got really good.
Oh, it's really good.
But yeah, I think like how we were saying earlier with certain archetypes that piss us off, what's his name? Zenitsu's character, the one who falls asleep.
Yep.
Oh my
Yup.
god, he's so bitch made. And it just makes me so angry. Like, you don't have to be so afraid, you know? But it goes with the story, so I can't do too much complaining. But yeah, just hanging with my sports animes.
I mean, if you're keeping with sports anime, I would definitely 100% recommend Hajime no Ippo. It's a very good sports anime. It has like 3 seasons. Unfortunately, they stopped animating it because it didn't do well, so there's just the manga. And it's funny too, like the anime adapts 500 chapters of the manga, and there's currently over 1,300 chapters of the manga. So there's like, because this anime has been going on since like the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And it's still going.
Holy shit.
And I remember the creator, George Morikawa, the creator, George Morikawa, said that like in a 30-year interview, he said that, the series is about halfway done.
Bro, this man's going to cop out before we finish this series.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much our podcast for today. The only other thing that I want to talk about real quick is pretty much the structure of this podcast, I guess, and how often we'll be doing this. So in terms of how often we'll be doing this, it'll be whenever we have time. Because we all have other things going on and stuff, but we'll definitely try to every now and then, show up and do an episode and stuff like that. But for now, it'll just be whenever we have time. And as this grows, we'll try to dedicate more time to this for a fact. And yeah, like I said, pretty much we're just going to be talking about mainly just broad topics within anime in general. But as we continue with this, we'll come up with more ideas and other things that we could talk about too. So yeah. And you guys have any other last things you want to say before we end this episode?
Don't do drugs.
Stop watching harem anime.
Well, Kai, you were...
That one too.
Yep. Fuck those.
Fuck harem.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.